Hi, it's Xavier and Specialist Grace Bonsai, and I'm sure many of you have had very, very generous neighbours, friends, work colleagues who insist on giving you every cutting they can find. And certainly I've got a good friend from the Mass Centre who does that for me. He gets me sycamores, hazel, all sorts. He flew me a load of silver birches. And he gave them to me last year, and I meant to get them out of this because I don't think there's any holes in the bottom. And in fact, over winter, I remember there being probably an inch of water and frozen on the top of this. So I really didn't think it was going to make it, but it's leafed out. I've probably missed the optimum time, so I bet we do lots of rework, but what should we do with this? Because I'm sure we all get faced with this problem throughout the year. And if you get cuttings from people, or little things they find, or you find something, there is nothing stopping you treating it like a potted plant and just getting into some decent soil first. So should we go and do that? Okay. So you've got your milk tub, and I'm definitely not going to try and pull them out by these things because they'll be very delicate. So let's just cut the base off. Hopefully not cutting too many roots while we do it. Okay, so what we got, loads of leaves. As I say, I don't really want to break this up too much right now. This soil got it through the winter. It's quite a loamy compost, so I'm just going to clean off the top a bit. Okay, bit of sand in there. There's a great temptation to try and get that into bonsai soil, and I even had some ready, but they're green. Why would I need to do that now? There's some roots there, but this isn't claggy, so I think what I will do is I can ash on it actually. It is, it's a little ash, but we don't want that. We've got 1, 2, 3 trees there, so I think we might make a little beach forest. Well, perhaps a beach spinney. Okay, so the first thing, just want to find a suitable plastic training pot. Happen to have one about. Drainage holes in the bottom. Going to fit that perfectly. What I might just do is just break up the edges a little bit. But I want it to hold it together because I won't need to secure it then. Now, as you probably see, it is difficult not to end up exposing more roots than you intend. So I just do the best I can. I hadn't actually cut any roots away, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm quite happy to let that just keep on growing. Put a bit of water on it. And that's a nice little silver birch spinny as a result of some generosity from Howard Toon. In fact, tell you what, why don't we need to do a little addition onto this one, because I've got 2 trees that were in quite shallow pots that I'd like you to have a look at and just see what can happen. Okay, so you've just seen me have a bit of fun with those silver birch seedlings, saplings. Now, part of the downside of getting through to spring is that you then start getting to see some of the damage that's happened as a result, and often you don't see it until a little bit later. And certainly the frosts we had were a little harder and at different times. And to be fair, the trees that you wouldn't normally expect to suffer, like Cotoneaster, which are quite strong, or even Chinese elms, do. And the ones that do are the ones that are either in very, very shallow pots, common sense, or the ones that haven't been repotted for a while. And I'm quite sad to say that I think I lost five of my old shop purchased import Chinese elms, some quite big ones, and that was just down to the fact they missed their repots, and they froze solid. So anyway, we're looking at this one, this Cotoneaster. This was really nice. I liked it a lot. And it's I think last year I talked about this. That's right. There was a whole section here that went off this side, and when I put it into this this shallow pot, I said as a result of that I lost this whole half. So we had to do away with it. Well, unfortunately, it looks like this winter, although there's a bit of green there, we may well have lost the rest of this here, most of this top here. It's down to me. Shallow pot that should have been kept in the greenhouse over winter. So what can I do about it? Should we see what is dead and what isn't? Right, okay, interesting. There's actually green on the end of that. So what I'm going to do is just take ends off until I get green. That one looks more brown in there. It's hard to tell, but I think that's brown. Yep, that's brown. The chances are, although it's green up here, it's brown further back. So yeah, so you can have green at the top, but the whole base is brown, which is where I often say I'll often wait a year before I make a decision about a branch being dead, because the first part, you're convinced it's dead, but you've still got a bit of growth. That looks like that's going to be fresh growth down there. So, cutting back to there. The rest of that, let's have a look. Dead. Okay, we know that's dead. Yep. If all that's dead and that's dead, the chances are that's dead. If that's dead and that's dead, the chances are that's dead. So yeah, okay. And we'll just keep going back, and no surprises there. All dead, okay. It's all part of one tree. Now we've still got this, which is alive, so we need to look after that. This one, it's dead, so I think we can safely assume dead. Dead, okay. And I can just see the start of green on there. So now all we've got is this here. That is completely unsuitable for that. And because I've lost 2/3 of it over the course of a year, rather than just leave it, I'm going to have a little look, because minimum is I've got to change the potting angle. I could actually, depending on what root's live, go semi-cascade, but anyway. So let's get this out of that. One thing I will do, there was a little bit of green at the top where I cut, so I'm not risking any further. Just going to seal that cut point. Let's get this out then, shall we? Wash that down. I've got a great pile of pots for washing now. Okay, do you want to see all the pots I've got to wash? There are all the pots that I've taken all the mame stuff out. They are all going to need to be repotted, and while we're at it, there's the oaks. I don't even know whether you'll have seen the oak video by now, but they're definitely swelling. Okay, let's just have a look and see just how much of this root system is still actually operating. As you can see, there certainly isn't a. I mean, bear in mind it's been in that for 3 years now. I think 3 years. There hasn't been a great mat of roots growing. I mean, there is certainly roots on there, but all those who've grown Cotoneaster know full well you get more than that. 3 years. Okay, so what we're interested in is this, whatever the live vein is here, which unfortunately you can't actually tell. That's dead. I think that's dead. Yes, that's got nothing on it. Get rid of that. Now I know there is definitely a risk with me doing this of me actually just doing it permanent damage, but there was no point leaving it. I can also see if there's actually anything going on down here. Very wet, notice that. Okay, we've got some fine roots there, roots on the end of that. Right, that's a dead one. So, will that make worthwhile either go up that way? It's going to be very two-dimensional at the moment. Or the good thing about these is because they're clip and grow, I can very quickly get some I don't think, no, I think we're definitely going to go for that. Okay, when it comes to decisions of pots, I'd put it back in the ground. That would probably be the best option if I want it to be healthy and to grow and thrive. But if I actually want it to stay in reasonable perspective to the stump that's already there, I don't actually want it getting much bigger than that, I just want it to get stronger. So rather than go for a plant pot or back in the ground, I'm going to put it to a little plastic training pot. I shouldn't need to tie it down. It's quite a hollow there, so make sure we've got good contact with all the roots. Okay, so there it is, repotted. I mean, if that survives, that's really interesting. Yeah, that could even be further up, but for now I'm going to look after that. And bit of a survivor, this one, this Cotoneaster. So it's what we don't want though is what I just saw then. It's a woodlouse, and that may have been the answer. If there's woodlouse in there, then they may well be eaten slowly through the root structure. So I have to keep an eye on that. I think this one needs to be named. So I'm going to name this after Mark. This is going to be Mark's Cotoneaster. A real survivor. Been around a bit, maybe looking a bit haggard, a bit like me, but stand the test of time. So welcome to Mark's Cotoneaster. Yeah. Okay. One other repot I'm going to do. It's an oak, and as I said, I've either done a load of oak now, or I'm about to do a load of oak. But let's get this done, shall we? And the next one I'm going to look at is this little oak. Again, started off as a recovered oak sapling from a sister's garden back in 2017. Stayed small because it's been kept in a small pot. Lots of structure there has grown on, something here, here and here. So I'm going to get this one out of the pot now and quickly change it round. Dawn Isaac pot. I might go for a different pot actually, I found this a bit dark. Now bearing in mind it's been in there for 2 years, there isn't what you'd call a heap of root growth, which probably corresponds with the fact that, as you know, last year I talked about this a few times where I thought it had died. Probably could do, if I was really honest, with going to a much bigger pot. Well, I'm certainly not concerned about it. It is healthy. There's roots there, but I think this would benefit from a bit of pot depth. I think, because that's really not good enough. He says cutting off just a few more of the roots. Okay, found this pot. Much deeper round mica one, I mean, he doesn't have to worry about the front. Sit it in quite nicely. Okay, so very simply just changed over the pot. It's now going to have a good depth there. The soil will be a lot more free draining. Well, that's the other thing I noticed on that pot. I did that 2 or 3 years ago, and I think I was using a finer granular stuff because I looked at it and it wasn't good. It was clumping. So okay. And we've got lots of buds on here. We've got lots of bud points. And what I will do is do a little bit of selection at the top. The good thing for those of you, I mean everyone knows about oaks, you can see hundreds of buds on these things, so it's not really an issue with me. Took that off because it was an absolute monster of a knuckle on it. Although I've got 2 here, I may see if buds come from this lower one because I'll have the lower one if I can. In fact, if you look at that, that's actually 3 from the same point. That's on the inside of a bend. That looks a bit ugly, but so that's that oak now. Rescued from a very nice Dawn Isaac pot. It's not to say it's Dawn's fault. Far too shallow, and the soil was far too wet and claggy. So glad I got it out of that. We'll see how it does in that, and that will be fine for a couple of years. So, from Xavier, having, oh, I know what I'm going to say, kitty friend. I've had a few people ask me about it, the Sandy Cat Pink Kitty Friend. There's a lot of people saying it's really difficult to get hold of. I keep looking at, I think it's vets.co.uk. It's an online ordering service. They always have some in stock. I think it's £13 for a 30 litre bag. The only thing with them that's different from the others is their delivery charge, and I think their delivery charge is per bag or something. So it still ends up working out to be about 18-19 quid a bag. But yeah, otherwise that, I'm looking at the garage driveway soakaway stuff. It's the same mould of clay. But yeah, so I can still get the kitty friend. It's getting dark now. I'm getting tired. Had a really good day of bonsaiing. So hopefully you've learned something or seen something or enjoyed something. And if you haven't, thanks for staying through. And if you didn't stay through, you won't hear me say thanks. All the best. Happy bonsaiing. God bless. Cheers.